That's right, mi gente. Give a year, change the world. You know what time it is. You're tuning into the Weewo show here on Whip Radio. And now it's that time, as promised. I told you that an organization by the name of City Year was going to be in the building. So, just a little background about City Year. City Year is an AmeriCorps organization. Now, they're nationwide, and I believe maybe even out on another continent. But here in Philadelphia, they're very involved. A lot of students here in the area recognize their logo, and they acknowledge those proud men and women wearing those cool red jackets. But we have two representatives from City Year, and they're in the building. I'm going to introduce them. George and Lexi, how you guys doing?
Beautiful, beautiful.
Doing very well,
cool.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. All right, and I know you guys heard the ad. What you think? Was it produced okay? We did an all right job?
It was definitely pretty sharp.
Okay.
Well representing of the organization, so thank you for that.
Very cool. Glad to hear that. All right. So let everyone know that. So I let everyone know that's listening a little bit about City Year. You know, I mentioned earlier that this is an organization that trains, young people to go out and mentor and tutor students that are at risk. And I know you guys focus on 6th through 9th graders. All right, but before I get into that, I just wanted to ask you guys a little bit about what's your position at City Year.
Definitely. Well, I can start. My name is Jorge Lopez. I am Senior Outreach Coordinator with City Year Greater Philadelphia. In addition to being a proud 2-year alum, this is now my 6th year recruiting for the organization full time. So I definitely understand both sides of the coin of doing a year, actually doing 2 years of service, and then making that transition into staff to then help other young people realize their full potential through a year service and how they can make a difference in the communities in which they serve or find themselves, either where you're from or where you may end up after graduation from college.
Okay, very cool. How about you, Lexi?
I'm Lexi Carvajal. I'm a Diplomas Now team leader at Feltonville School of Arts and Sciences, and my position, I lead a team of 10 core members in their service at our school, so they're directly working with the students day to day, and I'm just there to make sure that they're supported in their service and that they really feel like they're doing their best work they can.
Very cool. So, sounds pretty clear what's the initiative of City Year. So, you guys are considered corp members, right? Course members?
Well, Lexi's a core member,
okay,
and I'm a full-time staff member.
All right.
I did once sit in the role of core member.
Okay. And so the corps members, can you explain to me a little bit about their role in the program?
So most of our core members are school-based, and a day-to-day they come in, they greet the students in the morning, get them enthusiastic about being at school, and then they follow a group of students all day, making sure that they're supported in their schoolwork and they're understanding all their math and literacy. But they're there to build relationships with students and to make sure that they have someone who is a positive role model for them and can listen to them and just guide them through their educational years.
And then to piggyback off that, core members are 17 to 24 years old. They're in high school grads through college graduates who dedicate a year of full-time service to work in schools to provide academic support, keep students on track to graduation. Essentially, you're operating in a multifaceted role where you're a full-time tutor, mentor, role model, life coach, and just an overall positive individual helping young people through their education.
Wow. A lot going on, but I can definitely dig it. I'm glad you guys are here in Philadelphia because something that I took notice, I know it's nationwide, but you guys aren't in every city or state.
True. We started back in 1988 with one site in Boston, Massachusetts, and since that time have spread to 21 other cities across the U.S.
Wow. And even outside of the country.
Absolutely. We are.
A place in South Africa, I heard.
True. Very true. We are in Johannesburg, South Africa.
London, too.
And then we do serve in London, England as well.
Very cool.
Global organization.
Okay. So I know that you guys target 6th through 9th graders. Why 6th through 9th? Is there a reason?
Well, there's definitely a reason for that. It's a targeted approach because 6th through 9th grade is usually, 6th and the 9th grade are usually the hardest transitional years for students in education. So what we're doing is focusing on the early warning indicators as to what leads students to drop out once they reach high school. That flows right into the ABCs, and those are attendance, behavior, and course performance in math and English. If a student is deficient in any one of those areas as early as the 6th grade, they have a 75% higher chance of dropping out than their peer who's on track. So knowing that, we're able to provide those necessary interventions to keep students in school and on track to graduation.
The ABC method. I like that. It's catchy.
Very.
It works. So I applaud you guys because I know you're working closely within the Philadelphia School District. But I also hear that you guys are doing things outside of the community, even in the weekends. Can you tell me about your Young Heroes and your City Heroes project?
Definitely. Young Heroes and City Heroes, they're actually a part of what we call at City Year the Youth Corps Continuum. They are a Saturday service learning program for middle and high school students where they come out 3 Saturdays a month from January to June to learn about different social topics of interest that matter to their home and school situations. So each week they come out. They're led through a social literacy curriculum in the morning based on that topic of interest that they choose. So one week might be hunger and homelessness. Next week might be drug and alcohol abuse. Things that students are interested in learning more about. And the second half of their day involves going out and doing physical service around those topics so they can take what they're learning in the classroom and applying to real life situations, creating that experiential learning.
Very cool. Do you guys have a growing group?
Definitely.
Of Young Heroes and City Heroes?
The Youth Corps Continuum as a whole was around 300 to 350 young people coming out on an annual basis, serving in the Saturday service learning capacity.
Very cool. Now, a lot of positive outreach. I'm loving it. But how is it made possible? Because I know you guys have a pretty strong, dedicated team, and I know that some help is going to be needed financially. How does that happen?
Absolutely. And we definitely can't do it alone. 40% of our funding annually comes through the federal AmeriCorps grant. AmeriCorps is a national service organization that was started to help raise volunteerism in the communities in which you find yourself across the country. And then the other 60% of our funding is raised through our corporate partner program. So we do have relationships with national corporations who support the work we do. A number of them are housed locally here in Philadelphia, such as Comcast, Aramark, Deloitte, just to name a few.
Very cool. Now, I want to give a shout out to Lexi because I know that she's a Temple alum.
To you.
Shout out to Lexi. Wow, very cool.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be back on campus today.
Very cool. And I know that you guys have worked very closely in the program. What makes it so rewarding? Because this isn't your first year. I know in your motto, you guys say, give a year, change the world, but you guys have given more than a year. Why so? Why stay? Why stick around?
Well, I only intended to do 1 year, but in my year last year, I was a Corps member, so I was actually working at the school that I'm at now. I knew coming back that I wouldn't be guaranteed to return to my school, but I still felt like building a relationship with the students and actually seeing them grow and really caring for their future and being invested in it, I wanted to be able to continue to serve by sharing that experience with others and providing some insight and some advice to Corps members and based on my experiences last year. So I felt like the best way for me to continue to serve would be to come back and share that with future generations of Corps members. And it's just been all the more rewarding to return to the school that I was at last year because I still get to see my students every day, and it's just affirming that I built relationships with them and they really care about my presence in the school even if I'm no longer in the classroom. And in addition to that, just the relationships I've built with the people within City Year, it's really inspiring to be with people that are so different than you, but you learn so much from them. And everyone is just full of amazing ideas and so much passion and energy. It's infectious, and it makes it really easy coming to work every day. It doesn't feel like a job. It's just what I love to do. Awesome.
I'm glad to hear that it's so rewarding because I know sometimes when people think of service or they're involved volunteering, sometimes it feels like they're just going with the motions. They're not as engaged, and perhaps they're not gaining enough insight. But I'm glad that at City Year, that's not the case. Now, the big question, how can students become a part of City Year?
Very easy. It starts by logging onto the website, cityyear.org. From there, you can learn all the information as to who we are, what we do, where we came from, the work that we're doing in the communities in which we serve. You can actually check out each one of the cities we serve in on the website just to learn a little bit more about what they're doing in those communities. And then on the webpage, there's a big bright red button that says Apply Now. If you click that button, it will ask you to register for an application with your email address and a couple other identifying characteristics. And then from there, it'll dump you into the online application, which is pretty simple to fill out. There's 3 parts. First, ask you about your biographical information, your work history, school history, any volunteer experience you've had. There are 2 essays that go along with the application. 300-word maximum. Really easy. One asks you...
Yeah, that doesn't sound too bad.
Not at all. It's simple. One asks you, why do you want to join City Year? Write about it. The second one asks you to pick a social topic of interest that matters to you. Write about it. It's the way that we get to know you before you step foot in the door as a confirmed core member. And then the last piece are 2 professional references. They can come from coaches, teachers, mentors, pastors, professors here on campus at TU, anyone that supervised you in a professional setting. Once that's complete, we then send that off to our selections committee to make a decision on your application.
Very cool. Now, the application sounds, very manageable, but there's always that select group of students, of maybe potential applicants that say, you know what, man, maybe too many people are applying. Why me? They're probably not going to like me. What would you say to those students?
Well, I think that it's really important to keep in mind that our core is extremely diverse in every sense of the word, and I think people just have to trust that they have something to offer the youth of Philadelphia and the youth of the nation in showing them a different perspective. Everyone has something to teach others, something that makes them unique, something that makes them different, and that's exactly what City Year's looking for. They don't want everyone that's just this cookie-cutter picture of success. I mean, I can attest to that with the friends that I've made and members of my team. Everyone is so different than anyone I've ever known, and it wouldn't be what it was if it wasn't for that diversity.
I like to hear that. A lot of diversity at City Year. And I know that you guys are in different parts of the country, even out in South Africa and in London. But here in Philadelphia, I know it's different. And I know that you guys have, perhaps a different mission or a goal in mind. How do you guys feel like that's, in what direction do you think City Year here in Philadelphia is moving toward? Anything new? Any big changes? Or are you guys just trying to hold on to those, traditions?
Well, I mean, we're definitely on the rise here in Philadelphia and across the country. Our goal nationally is to one day, hopefully, have no student dropping out of high school and everyone realizing their full potential through education. We are actually the second largest site in the national organization with 240 young people serving on an annual basis.
Wow.
So that says something, that young people are taking notice and young people are stepping up to the plate to help be a part of the solution versus just sitting by idly and watching, society crumble. And it's kind of refreshing to see that day to day, that young people do have that in them to step up to the plate and make a difference.
Very cool. And I have to mention, I'm loving your branding. Because I'm telling you, I'm always seeing the City Year logo, and right away I see it, and I know what it's all about. I see the jackets, I see the posters, the flyers.
Yeah, we're everywhere.
Everywhere, And, I mean, I think you guys are going to have to teach me a thing or two here at the Weewo show, because that's something I'm working on, branding. But maybe we can talk at another time. Thank you, George, Lexi, for being here. Definitely appreciate your presence.
Appreciate you having us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Any last comments? Anything that you'd like to mention?
Just that City Year was a great transition for me after Temple, and I hope all Temple students consider it in their future steps.
And it can truly help you figure out what it is that you really want to do with the rest of your life and really set you on track to be successful through that. We have a ton of benefits to help support you through your educational and professional mission, especially accessing postgraduate scholarships, anywhere from 25 to 100% off your graduate school tuition by being an alum of the program. So I highly encourage you to check us out.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you guys for being here. We thank you here at the Weewo Show. We have much respect for City Year here at Whip Radio. We love you guys. Thank you so much. And, of course, anyone tuning in, go out and apply. I mean, time is ticking. Is there an application deadline approaching?
Absolutely. I'm glad you plugged that. We do have our winter application deadline quickly approaching. It's actually this Tuesday, November 15th. If you apply by that deadline, you'll know no later than January 6th of your acceptance into the program or not, and can plan accordingly for your postgraduate opportunity. So,
okay, so mi gente, you heard George. Time is ticking. Make sure you apply. Quick, easy steps. You can do it. Give a year, change the world. Thank you, guys. Continue to tune in.
Appreciate you, Wee.
Thank you.